So after you've spent a bit of time on getting that intro and you feel confident with it, it's time to start exploring the verses. Now, the verses have some chords in it that I can't play. My hand's just not big enough. It's likely / possible you're going to have a similar kind of a feeling there, right? So I'm going to show you some alternatives. The first chord, I'm pretty sure this is what John Mayer is playing. So his thumb is playing the note G on the thicker string. We're muting the 5th string. Then we've got open D, open G. Second finger on the note D, which is 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and first finger on the 2nd fret of the thinner string. Okay, if you find that difficult, you could get away with definitely just having the first finger and having the open B string as well. Okay, that's what I thought it was for ages, and then it was only a chance glimpse on one of the videos that I'm pretty sure I saw his 2nd finger down there. Might have been wrong, so they sound more or less identical. You could choose which one of those you like. If you're struggling with the thumb over thing, you could play it like that definitely, or like that. So using your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the thicker string, and fingers 1 on the 2nd fret of the thinner string, finger 3 on 3rd fret of the 2nd string. That would be the first chord. Now the second chord is the one that caused me the most problems. It looked to me like he was playing that. Now it's even hurting my fingers to even think about it, and I have to crane my elbow around, right? So playing the thumb staying on the 3rd fret, little finger playing the 7th fret of the thinner string, 3rd finger playing the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and first finger playing, I think, the 5th fret of the 4th string. But I mean, it just makes, you've got to have elastic thumbs and huge hands to be able to play that chord, and I just couldn't. I gave up actually. I decided I wasn't going to do a lesson on it if I couldn't do it properly. But I've since decided that's rubbish, because most people aren't going to be able to play that way either. So I figured, like, it sounds essentially the same. It's the same notes, just kind of swapped over where they are on the fretboard, or what octave they're in, to be using my thumb still to play that note G, and just stretching out with my 3rd finger to play the 7th fret of the thinner string. It's still a mighty big stretch for me. If you find that really hard, there'd be definitely nothing wrong with it. And I've seen quite a few people use just first finger to play that bass note still, and use little finger to play the 7th fret of the thinner string. Okay? It's a perfectly acceptable option. It's up to you. I'm going to use this because that's just the way I've been practicing it. It was kind of an excuse to work on keeping my thumb over while I played some chords that I found uncomfortable. But yeah, there's no shame in doing it that way if that's what you prefer. Okay? The third chord, I'm using my thumb again, but it's 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the thinner string. Again, there'd be no harm in doing that or that, whatever, as long as you're playing the note G, which is the 3rd fret of the thicker string, and the note A, which is going to be the 5th fret of the thinner string. It doesn't really matter what fingers you want to use. And the 4th chord is this kind of G add 6/9, G6/9, I guess I could call it. Again, it could have a few different names, but 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, while thumb continues to play that G note on the 3rd fret of the thicker string, and muting the 5th string at the same time. Again, you could use 1st and 2nd fingers if that was more comfortable. Okay, so you end up with this one with the F sharp on the top, B on the top, A on the top. I'm going to call it, it's not really A on the bottom, A on the, it's the note A, which is the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Okay, and it's more or less the same picking pattern. Okay, so it's still actually doing thumb and first finger together, down, up. I guess sometimes that little up there is not specifically the 3rd string. Thinner string, down, 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah, sometimes I'm definitely strumming with that on the 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So it sounds just as good right to me now playing the 3rd string. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3. Now while we're talking about this strumming hand, it would appear to me that John is playing the same trick, playing the bass note on beat 1, and on beat 2 he's putting the thumb on the string, and that's what's creating that percussive effect. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it works well like that on its own. I found it really, really difficult to do, to get that kind of clarity of the hit while I was worrying about doing the flick with my first finger and all of that. So in order to get the click, I'm letting my hand come down. So I'm kind of using the outside part of my palm. Okay, I'm still muting the string, thumb's getting ready in position, but I've got a feeling like it's my palm of my hand getting the click more than the first finger doing it. Now, I'm not sure whether that's just a problem with my own technique. It is something I've worked on. I spent quite a lot of time just trying to get this thing, and then it's just I don't know what's wrong with my technique that it stops me doing it. But I'm fairly sure, again, I'm not going to be the only one with that problem. So you might find that you want to use like your whole hand. And again, get used to the feeling of getting that bass note now on a different string, because it's going to feel different. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Just practice on that one chord. Don't be in a hurry to try lots of different things. Work on one thing at a time. So take that first chord, or that if it's a little bit easier for you. Get used to the pattern. Practice that for as long as it takes for you to get it so it feels kind of natural, you know. And then only when you feel like you've got it kind of natural, try it with all of those other chords. And again. I can really hear, now that I'm teaching you guys, I can hear how much louder the click is on the D compared to the G, and it's upsetting me. I need to work on that again myself and try and perfect that bit. But anyway, so once you're together with those two riffs, I would practice just what I was doing then of mixing the two together. So play the verse. And then into the little D riff. Back into the G riff. And back again. Okay, now that's a lot of the tune is out of the way. Now, the next part, the chorus, it's got some tricky bits in it, okay? So it depends again on how much you want to go, just like the record. The original part, I think he's picking out bits of the melody as well, so you end up with this kind of... So you can see there's lots of things going on. Let me take you through the chords first of all. Now you could, as a starting point, just continue to use that same rhythm you've just been working on and leave out some of the fancy stuff, and then you'd be able to play the song. So that might be something to consider as well, okay? So we've got this as a G minor major 7. Lovely chord. So you might recognize it's kind of like an A minor grip on the wrong strings and upper fret. So first finger, second fret, thinner strings, second and third fingers, both in the third fret on the second and third strings. Thumb playing the bass note on the third fret of the thicker string, okay? Muting the fifth string as well. Now, what's going on here is he's using the melody. Okay, so second fret, first finger off, first finger back on, little finger sneaking down the third fret of the thinner string, off, first finger off, and then playing the third fret of the second string with the third finger, that accenting that note. Now, the consistent thing here again is keeping the thumb on beats 1 and 3 with the mute on 2 and 4 and the flick down with the first finger. So really slowly. Okay, it's practice and trying to figure that bit out. To try and count it and write it down for you guys is going to be really difficult for me and really painful for you. So if you've practiced it well up to this point and you've got used to the feeling of it in your hand, you should just be able to muck around to try and find where those extra notes are. Okay, then we're going to a D with an F sharp bass, and second finger lifts off so it becomes like a D add 9, I guess, because you've got the third in the bass. And again, first finger's doing all of that work. Now here we've got, this is an E7 chord, so second finger, second fret of the third string, first finger, first fret of the third string, little finger, third fret of the second string, and third finger is going to go onto the second fret of the thinner string and lift off. Now, many of you, including me, will find that quite challenging, okay? Being able to just hold that chord and lift the third finger on and off, it's not so easy, right? So, especially when you've just already been pushed. Okay, again, it's the consistency of the pattern that's the key thing here. If you've managed to keep that hand moving all the time, you won't find it that difficult. Okay, that really is the trick. Now, the next little section, I was really sure it was this, so which is leaving the second finger where it was, which is the third fret of, the second fret of the fourth string. Little finger goes down on the third fret of the second string. Then that lifts off, third finger goes down the second fret of the second string. First finger in the first fret of the second string, and then off. So you end up with this line. Now, you can play those chords that way, and it works, but it's not the way John does it, okay? And I'm not exactly sure why. This is definitely the grips that he's using for that particular run, and it's the same, the highlighted note is the same. It does have a different texture. Maybe he's chosen that fingering because of the texture of the sound, the fact that it's further up the fretboard, it doesn't quite sound as bright, so it gives a contrast for the next bit. Not exactly sure. But this A7 sus4, so to do it exactly the John way, first finger is barring the strings 2, 3 and 4. We're not playing the thinner string of the 5th fret. Third finger goes down in the 7th fret. I find it easier to use my little finger, but John's using his third finger there, 7th fret of the 3rd string. Move it back or use the second finger to play the 6th fret of the 3rd string, lift it off. So you're just using the bar, and then you have to re-fret, or re-finger rather, to 5th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, using fingers 2, 1 and 3 there on those same strings. So let me just play you through that whole section now as slowly as I'm able to. It's quite challenging again to play slowly this bit. It's all then, this kind of section is about trying to play those extra melody notes with the first finger and trying to fit them in. And, you know, feel free to improvise with it. John Mayer doesn't do it exactly the same every time, so don't, you know, feel bad if you're getting a note in the wrong place. As long as the tune sounds good and you keep the tempo in time and, you know, it's feeling groovy, then it's good. Anyway, here's the chorus. So one more time. So there's a little quirk that he does, seems to do on the record, which he doesn't do live, which is the where that note moves, which is slightly earlier on the record. So down, dum, bum, da, dum, dum, dum. That's what seems to be on the record. But live, it's definitely. And I'm not sure why they're different, why you would choose one over the other in a particular circumstance, but just because I'm fussy about that kind of stuff, I figured I should give you that as well. So, on to the bridge now. Bridge. Okay, so it's just starting with the G minor major 7 that we have for the usual chorus. This is the bit in Talk to My Old Man. First finger has to drop back another fret, and again, that's really killing my thumb. I find that really difficult. Got a feeling, I seem to remember in one of the videos, John refingering from this to that, but that again, that feels even harder to me than just dropping the first finger back. I guess we've all got different shaped hands, but something to consider. I'm starting to see a funny shadow there on my guitar neck, which is a bit annoying, but should pick one or the other really. So, G minor major 7, B flat over G, I guess, it would be called. Then to the D over the F sharp bass, and then to the E, and then it's back to the regular one. That's really just the addition of that B flat triad over G in that little section, the first bridge. The only other section, really, again, you have to listen to the original recording and put the pieces together, right? But there's this G, A7, a G with a B bass, to A with a C sharp bass and an open G and a D. Not exactly sure what we'd call that chord, but it doesn't really matter. G, just regular old G, A7. Okay, second finger and third finger both in the second fret of the second and fourth strings. Then G with a B bass. I always play second and fourth fingers. I've got a feeling John plays it with the first and third fingers. Again, for you super fans, you might want to play it that way. That's first finger, second fret, open D, open G string, and third finger on the third fret of the second string. And then just move that shape up 2 frets to kind of an A chord, I guess, an A7 with a added fourth in there. I mean, whatever, the chord names aren't really important here at this point. So G to the A, to G with a B bass, to an A to the C sharp bass, G and an A. And on some of the live ones is so it's really up to you how you want to play that little section. Quite often live he's then it does that sequence 3 times. D, A minor, 7, A minor, 7, so just like an A minor but with the third finger lifted off. And there's quite often, at least this is my best guess, is this E minor 9 kind of a thing, which is like an A minor 7, but moved up 2 frets, and then little finger goes down on the 5th fret of the thinner string, and you're going to mute the A string, the 5th string, but play the thicker string. So open, muted, 4th fret, open, 3rd fret, 5th fret. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. D, da, da, A minor to A, E minor 9. Sounds on the record that he does this. Okay, so this is just 2nd fret on the 1st and 3rd strings, then open, then 3rd and 4th fret on the 3rd fret 2nd string, 4th fret 4th string, back 2 frets, so 1st and 2nd fret, open 2nd and 4th strings, then 3rd fret on the 5th string and 2nd fret on the 3rd string, then that same E minor 9. Again, it's different most times when he plays it live. It's up to you. The simplest one would be just D, A minor to E minor, or E minor 9, or whatever fancy version of that you want to play. Well, I got to say, as a lesson, that came across a bit easier than I was anticipating. It is a pretty tricky tune. It's taken me quite a lot of practice, a lot of research to get comfortable with it. I've still got work to do, right? I'm not playing it, you know, absolutely spot on all the time. There are parts where I feel like the groove is falling apart a bit, and you know that the percussive hit on the chords with the thicker string root a little bit not as loud as they should be. So there's some work to do, and probably you'll find a similar kind of a thing for yourself. And these kind of tunes, you know, for me, this is good enough. I could play it at a party. I could play it. You know, I'm not gigging covers things, and I wouldn't try and sing this tune either, because singing it and playing it at the same time, singing any John Mayer song is difficult because he's such a great singer, as well as being a great songwriter and a great guitar player. It's just not fair, is it? But you know, you've got to find a point where you're happy with it. And for me, this is it. You know, I've done it well enough that I feel like I can impart to you guys how to play it and play it authentically and well. Found a way of kind of simplifying it to make it playable for a lot of people, because I've seen, you know, I watched a few videos of other people trying to explain it, and it seemed a lot overly complicated. You know, you've got to remember that this is John Mayer doing his natural thing. He didn't try and come up with something complicated. At least I'm fairly sure he didn't. He's just playing a thing. And I think for yourselves trying to learn these kind of things in the future, part of it's about trying to make it feel easy and look for the easy path, because very rarely do people deliberately pick the awkward way to do something. You know, they find the easy way that's comfortable for them. And you know, John's got very big hands, so some of the chord grips are easy and natural for him, but really difficult for the rest of us humans. But you know, it's such a lovely tune to play. I'd really encourage you to take it slowly and do work on it a bit at a time. You know, I think it's unrealistic, unless you're an amazing guitar player, that like amazing technique, to be able to just jump on those sort of tunes. You know, you want to take as many smaller increments up the ladder as you can to try and make it work. And definitely spending quite a bit of time just on the intro before you launch into trying to play the whole tune will be, you know, highly recommended. So look, I hope you enjoyed this one. Lots of other fun John Mayer lessons over on the site, including Neon, which is also another one of those ones where it's all about the strumming hand that does most of the effort in that song. Again, there's a lot of similarities there with Neon, because it's got some pretty awkward chord grips as well. So you might want to check out my lesson on that. Easiest way to find all of my John Mayer lessons is just go to the website and type in John Mayer and search bar, and they'll all pop up for you. So you know, do go and check out the website if you're not used to seeing that. It's, you know, all of the songs are structured, easy to find, easy links to all of the related techniques and all that sort of stuff, and a lot of really cool, interesting things on the way in the back end, the dashboard section where you can save your lessons and all that sort of stuff. I really hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you for plenty more lessons very soon. Do subscribe to my channel if you dig what I do. I forgot to say that, and I'm trying to encourage you guys to help me out and support the Justin Guitar project. It would be greatly appreciated. I'll see you for more very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.